Back to the graphic design tutorial series. Today I will be teaching us how to create a code design just for you to get familiar with type adjustments and all of that. So let's get started. I'll create this particular small code design, and I'll add some a little bit of bonus to the class. So let's get started. I'll be making use of Adobe Illustrator for the purpose of this class. So let's create a new file. So I'll create a square design, like a DP size design. So I'll go to print. I like using print. Then I will just say this one of the templates there. Pick A4, then change it to centimeters so that I can relate well with the sizes dimensions. So I have one width at 21 and the other width at 29.7. So I can make the two sides at 21 centimeters. So all the sides will be equal, giving me a square. So I will create just one artboard, and the color mode, set it to RGB because it's a screen display purpose, for screen display purpose. So now let's continue, then click on create. So this is it. First and foremost, I'll create grids that will guide me into positioning or aligning the element, the text, to the center and the shape and every other things. So now let's get started on the grid. Now I have to preview the rulers before I can create grid in Adobe Illustrator. So to do that, I'll go to view, then on the view, let me zoom my screen. So I'll go to view, on the view, I'll go to rulers, show rulers. Now I have the rulers on the right, left hand side. So for this rule, I can right click and change the unit, but the unit comes with the document setup. So as you can see, the unit is in centimeter. Yes, I can leave it there. And the same thing applies to the other side of the ruler, the vertical and the horizontal ruler. So when we have this, what's next to do is just for us to drag from this end on the artboard. The white space that we call canvas is the artboard in Illustrator. So now I will just click drag and make sure it's actually falling on. I want to make a grid with margin or boundaries of 3 centimeters. So starting from this 0 down to 1, 2, 3. Then I can release and stop. Then the same thing applies to the right hand side, drag and 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we'll do the same to the other side, which is from this end we drag. So if we have this as our 21 and we want 3 centimeters this way, it will be 21, 20, 19 and 18. Just perfect, 18 around this side. Then the same thing applies to the bottom part, which is this. So if we have 21, we can go 19, 18, from 20, 19 and 18. Then we are good. Now we have our artboard set with grid lines. Now after this, we'll draw the main content and the space in the artboard. So now let's get started. So we'll be drawing a regular shape from this end. Just hold down. If you don't have your rectangle selected on the first option, you'll see more options of shapes here. So I'll be selecting the rectangle and I'll click and drag to create a regular shape. Creating a square, I'll just drag in I'll use the guidelines as a guide. Now we have this particular shape as our guide. Now what next is to try to provide a cut on this edge and another cut on this edge. So to do that, let's go and create another shape around this corner. We'll make sure then that same shape we can duplicate. Hold on, Alt, drag and drop to the edge where it intersects. Now, if we have that, we have to make sure that these shapes are empty shapes without space, empty shape with no space in it. So let's select all the shapes and make sure that, like, just highlight on it, they have no space in it. They have no space in it. So from here, from the fill angle, instead of white, make sure they are none. Now we have shapes lying on each other. Let me do that again. So we have to make sure that the shapes are actually transparent, or they are shapes without space in it, with no space in it. So after we select the whole shapes, then come to this edge, click, then we click on none. The default one there was actually white, so we are meant to take it away from white and put none. If you have none already, don't worry about that. We'll just click on none, then we are good. Now this is what we have. Then we can decide to cut it. Select it again, then we'll go to Pathfinder tool. Then you go to Window, Pathfinder. Then when we get to Pathfinder tool, we'll see this option in the Pathfinder tool. That we can try to break with particular shapes. The smaller shapes, we can break the bigger shapes with the smaller shapes that we have. So what we'll do is we come to this corner, then we'll break the outline. It's just the outline that we need. Then click break outline. Now we have the shapes already broken. Let's close the Pathfinder tool and we can zoom out. Now we have the shape already broken. This is the shape. Let's start deleting the shapes bit by bit. But before that, we need to see what we are deleting or what we are working on. So to do that, we have to apply strokes to what we've broken. So to apply strokes to it, we come to this particular section and add black strokes, then give it a unit. Then let's give it about 7. Then we come here, select and delete bit by bit. So we can select this edge, just select, double click on the shape. It's actually in group now, so we can select and double click in it. Then we can pick it bit by bit, delete, bit by bit, delete, then bit by bit, delete. Then the same thing applies to this, delete, delete, and delete. So this is what we have now. The next thing is to make sure the edges of these shapes or these lines now rounded. So what we need to do is select this, then come to part 2, then hold on your control key, then you see a smaller circle. But before you do that, I would advise we select all the shapes we have so that we can have equal curves on both sides. So that means we will go back to our selection to select all, then hold on control. If you don't hold on control, the small dot will not show. You have to hold on control. Then when you hold on control, the small dot will show. Then you drag and drag and drag till you get your desired curves. You see, if you don't select the two shapes or the two lines at the same time, the one at the down parts here will not be affected. So we need to select the two at the same time. So make sure the two black lines are selected before you click on the pen tool and before you hold on your control key, and that is it. So we try to provide a desired curve at the edge, which is let's make this a desired curve. Let's use this. So now that is that. Then we'll come back here. Let's still give it a bigger stroke. The stroke is looking small. Let's change it from 7 to about 10 pt. I think 10 pt is okay. So this is what we have currently. Then let's select. Then afterwards we can just exit the isolation mode. Now we are good. We have both in as a complete group. So now one thing we forgot to do again is to lock this grid, because by the time we start working, we will be having issue. The grid will start moving. But thank God those grids are not moving right now. So to lock the grids and to unlock the grid, if I right click, then I can unlock grids because they are currently locked now. Then whatever I do, if I'm trying to drag and the grids are moving alongside with it, just lock them. Just right click on any side of the screen, any side, then you lock guides. And yeah, let's finish this. Now we select on this. Let's reduce the size, make it smaller. Okay, don't forget, hold on shift to have a very reasonable proportion of your initial shape. Hold on shift. Now, if you want to resize from the center, then followed by the Alt key, hold the shift and Alt key. Then we have this, and we are good to go. Now, I still feel I would like to increase the strokes of this particular shape. Let's go back and increase the stroke. So select all, double click to just open the isolation mode, then can increase the stroke according to what I want. I think okay, this 14 is good. Now exit isolation mode, then yeah, we are good. Then we can create our test. So let's create our test inside. Now let's check the content that was inside. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Okay, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Yeah, now we can increase the size of the test and adjust the test just the normal way we do, and we can change the test. So I'll be dropping the file for the fonts I'll be using in this class. I'll be dropping it on the platform also. Make sure you download to follow the class in case you don't have something that looks like a font that looks like this. So now let's pick. I'll be using Marsden font. Okay, now let's use the regular. Find regular. Okay, let's use this. Yeah, this is what we have, and we can still reduce the size a bit. Now, getting the secret of getting ahead is getting ahead. It's getting started. I don't know. Let's be sure we actually go what we wrote there. Getting ahead is getting started is the next line. Okay, is secret of getting. Okay, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Okay, so we still need to reduce it a bit because our started is eating. Okay, now getting started. Yeah, now let's keep it up. Now this is it, and for this part we have a very bold test. So let's make it very bold. Super looks swaggy. And then we can, okay, is inclusive. So we semi-bold, and we can, okay, let's reduce this to about every. Let's leave it to medium, then this one should be every instead. Okay, that way we have something very contrasting. So heavy is good. Yeah. Now we can see the test is looking fat. Your test might be interesting, like you don't really need to make some adjustment, but for the purpose of this class, we really want to learn how to adjust test to our taste. But you have to do it with a very sense of proportionality. You should not overdo it. If you overdo it, you get everything ruined. So now let's increase the test boundary first. Select all this area, then let's come. To do that, we have to come on and turn on our property tab. Turn on our property tab, you come to Windows, go to properties, mine is turned on, then you can turn it off back, Windows, properties, then you will see the properties of every element you select. So for test, I can see the properties of test around the side. Then we can adjust the test to our taste. So we'll come select this more options, click, then I don't know, it's kind of laggy on my own PC. Definitely yours might not be like that. Maybe I have a lot of things running in the background. So that is why. So let's get now. We have several functions to edit this test here, which is the test height. You can stretch the test height, but remember, don't overdo this. We can stretch the test height to about, let's give it about 110. Let's see, and the width of the test case is longer. Don't overdo it, please. Then we can do this at let's make it slimmer at about 70. Oh no, it's now at, now that is overdue. Let's do 80. Okay, then let's do this length at 120. Okay, this is what I'm seeing right here. Then let's try to increase the size of the test a bit. Sorry, you're not seeing my screen. I need to show you this area. Then okay, let's select all, then show you at the same time test size. Yeah, okay, increase. Then we can actually change the leading of the test here, the spacing between each line. We can change it here. Let's adjust that around the side. Okay, I think we should leave it around this side for 5. Then your test might not definitely give you the same thing, but just make sure you work with your proportional instincts, like I've said. Okay, let's zoom out. Now this is what we have. We can make it look very smart. Now if we have this, let's try to position it in such a way that it will look balanced to the center no matter what. So you come here, after selecting the content, this is the alignment method in Illustrator. If you're trying to align any object to the center, to the left, to the right on the artboard, this is how you do it. So you come to the top right corner here, select the type of alignment you want. Is either you want to align to selection or you want to align to artboard. Now I'll be aligning to artboard. I want to position it to the center. Then I can click on artboard, then click on align to center, it's adjusted, align, that is align vertically and align horizontally. So now I have a perfect alignment at the center, horizontally or vertically. So let me do that again without the zoom. Okay, now let's see, we have the alignment. You select, come here and align to artboard option, align vertically and align horizontally. Now this is what we have. Then let's create a big quote that is at the corner edge of this shape. Now duplicate this. I don't want to create a new text. I can just double click inside, then right click the quote. Now increase the size of the quote, Let's keep increasing till it's big enough to our face. Let's use about 150. 150 is still looking small to me. Let's use 250. Okay, now for this, we've actually adjusted the text properties, the length and the width of the text. We can adjust it here, like it's looking a bit distorted the more it's getting bigger. So we can play with that and remove all of those things we've done here. Turn it back to 100%. So we turn it back to 100, then 100. Now, yes, this is what we have, and we are good with that. Now, okay, we typing into, we just click on the same thing, then we change the size. Now, we have to work on this width, spacing of the width here. Yes, we are trying to adjust the tracking and bringing them close, just reducing the value, bring them close to each other. Now let's use -100 to make things fast. Now, yep. Okay, we have this. We can still reduce the size. I'm still not okay. The size a bit too much. 200. Okay, I think this is good enough. Yes, then I can duplicate and bring it here, but we have to. Yes, then we can apply a background to it, a background color to it. So to apply a background color to it, we come here, then draw a shape and make sure we are at the intersect. Then on top of it, so we draw the shape on the whole shape that we have, on the whole element that we have. Then we'll try to bring it underneath it and make it the background of whatever we have. So to do that, we do that on the layout tab. If you don't have a layout tab, we'll come to Windows, click on layers if it's not there, or I will be clicking on mine because I just turned it off right now. Then the rectangle here, this is the rectangle. I can make it visible or not. Then I can drag it and put it at the bottom. Say drag it at the bottom. Then that is what we have. I can come back and select it here. Then to make sure you select. If you don't select it, you won't be able to change the color. Double click on this, then change the color. Let's use, I'll be using for 5 and okay, let me move the pointer. The pointer is still around black side, so I'll just drag it up here. I'll drag it up so as to select something more interesting. Then I'll click OK. Then this is what I have. Now this is it. Now the next thing to do is just to create a shadow at the base around this edge. Create a shadow at the base here. Now how to create a shadow in Illustrator. So what I'm going to do is I'll come here, hold down and select ellipse shape, and I'll draw an ellipse. Drag and draw an ellipse around this edge. Then make sure now the ellipse is in color, the previous color I just used. I'll just change it to black. Then after that, then I will come to use then I'll come to this edge, go to effect on the menu bar. Then when I get to effect on the menu bar, I will make sure I bring in the blur and Gaussian blur 2. So this is the blur and Gaussian blur 2. Then I can come here and see whatever I'm doing. I'll bring it much closer so that I can see what I'm doing. I can reduce the blur and increase the blur. Now I'm increasing the blur. I can try to preview. If you're not seeing, just click on this preview option. Then click. Okay. Now it's still looking too dense, too condensed. So we can try to reduce it a bit by just coming to the same menu bar here, click on Windows and go to transparency. Then we can reduce the transparency here. Let me do that without the zoom. Now, doing that without the zoom, too much. Yes, I think that's up to enough. This is what we have. Then we are good. So let's clear the grids. View and grids. Let's guide, then clear guide. Now this is what we have. And the last but not the least, because there's still more videos coming after this, I will add a bonus to the class. I'll try to bring in a picture and use it as a background with an overlay or any other layout effect as a background. So let's do that right away. So to do this, I'll come zoom out, then I'll drag in a picture. Let me drag in this particular picture and drop. Then I can make it so large. I want the picture to be around this edge. Resize with the Alt keys to maintain the proportion, and release. Then I can drag around this edge and leave this picture here. Then let me crop this picture. Then we select, click on the shape tool, hold and drag the rectangle. Then I can come to the edge. You can come to the edge of this particular, the edge of the artboard. Click and drag a shape. After clicking and dragging the shape, then next thing to do is to select, make sure you select hold on shift while the shape is selected, and select the picture too. So you're selecting two things, the picture and the shape. And after selecting the picture and the shape, you come to object, clip mask, then you click make. This is what we have. Then we can bring this picture underneath just like the way we did in the layout tab. So you come to your layer as usual, then you click on your layer, layers, then we can drag, this is it here around the side, then we can drag and select and drag it on the rectangle now, not underneath the rectangle. On the rectangle, then we'll drop it, then we'll select it, make sure we select it, make sure we're selecting it, then select it and go to the transparent, go to Windows, transparency, then afterwards we just change the layer properties, then we do that here. Now let's use soft light, then we reduce the opacity a bit so as not to conflict with the text. Just a little bit of it is enough. Now this is what we have. Okay, thank you, see you in the next class.